This week, Monstercat announced that they were teaming up with Twitch to provide fast-tracked affiliate applications, so as long as you were a Monstercat Gold member. Now, this has caused a bit of a stir within the community, with existing affiliates labeling it as pay-to-win affiliate. Naturally, this has made existing affiliates very angry because they've done the hard yards and grinded their way to affiliate status, and have said that the move devalues them as content creators. Now, at the time of recording, Monstercat has fast-tracked their backtrack and said that they won't be going ahead with that particular plan, but instead will be doing something else that benefits both partners and affiliates going forward with other features. I have my own thoughts on what Twitch thinks of Twitch affiliates, and that's not something that I really want to cover in this video, but if you're good and well-behaved and you call your mother once in a while, we might do it in another video. But what I do want to cover today is multi-streaming and how best to go about getting started. Stick around. Now, for some context, I voluntarily left the Twitch affiliate program in February 2020 because I wasn't too sure that the affiliate program was right for me anymore as a content creator. In the end, I gave myself a deadline on which to think about it, and I carried that out. And I ultimately decided that I wanted to leave the program. I did a bit of a write-up on this on my blog, which you'll find a link down in the description if you want to see my reasons why I left the Twitch affiliate program, but also very basic instruction on how to, remove yourself from the affiliate program. But one of the reasons that I left was so that I could pursue multi-stream. Granted, my use of multi-streaming isn't as consistent these days, but while I did, I spent a bit of time experimenting and working out what the best setup and tools to use were, and in this guide I'm pretty much going to be showing that off. I'm a bit of a stickler for streamlining things and making them run a little bit more efficient, and when I do, I generally set them up so that things run themselves and require very little input from myself only when I have to. Anyway, without any further rambling, let's dive into how you can get started with multi-streaming on YouTube, Twitch, whatever platform you want. Now, this video assumes that you've already gone ahead and created all of your profiles on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, Steam, whatever you want to broadcast to. Once you've set up all of your profiles, you'll need somewhere to send the video data to, so that way it's syndicated across all of your channels. You could do something like this through XSplit, where they allow you to broadcast to multiple locations at once, but that's a little bit inefficient in the way of bandwidth and PC resource utilization as well. Now, what you need is a service that you can send to one central location and then have that spread it out to all of your other channels. So you send it to one location and then that does the rest. Now, there's a few services out there that do this, but I think the one that works the best is Restream.io. Now, Restream has both free and premium features. However, you don't really need any of the premium features. They're mostly tailored towards high-end Facebook or custom RMTP locations, none of which you really need if you're just broadcasting to a lot of the common pickings. Now, to use Restream, you'll need to create a Restream account, which I'll put the link to Restream in the description. Once your Restream account is created, you'll then need to start linking all of your profiles together. So like Twitch, YouTube, whatever destinations you want to send to, you'll need to link that to your Restream account. Then from there, you'll need to grab your Restream stream key and the ingest server URL and pop that into OBS or XSplit or Streamlabs OBS, so that way when you go live, it sends it to Restream so they can send it out to all of your channels. Now, it's important to note that this guide assumes that you already know what the best settings for your stream is, so whatever your PC can handle, all of that other fun stuff. But one thing to keep in mind is that each platform has its own set of requirements as far as the encoder presets. Now, for example, on Twitch, a non-partner can only broadcast up to a maximum of 6,000 kilobits per second with a video bitrate, whereas a partner can do up to 8,000. The other thing as well is that YouTube allows up to 8,000 by default, so you sort of have to tailor it to all of the services as a global thing, so you need to find a balance between them all. The other thing to note as well is that YouTube doesn't support non-standard resolutions like 1600 by 900 or 900p, and that will automatically downscale to 720. So you're probably best just sticking with like 1080p, 720p, that sort of thing. With this in mind, you need to pick the settings that are universally applied to all services. Otherwise, you might find that some of those platforms might reject your feed input because it's got too much going through. Now that you've got the distribution side of things down pat, how are you going to monitor your chat? Now, fortunately, Restream has its own chat software that can be utilized through both a web browser and an installed desktop client that allows you to monitor all of your chat locations in one place in real time. One of the limitations of the Restream chat client is that it doesn't have all the streaming services chat APIs built into it. I think Steam is one of them that doesn't allow it to do that, but most of them tend to run pretty well. Another limitation is that it doesn't support BTTV or Frankerface's emote sets. So if you see those come up in the chat, they're more than likely to come up as the emote code than the actual emote. That's a relatively minor thing, but it does kind of make a bit of a difference, because you'll be reading the code instead of seeing the emote. Now, if you're using OBS or Streamlabs OBS, you can use the web version of the chat and dock that straight into the client there. If you're using XSplit, you might have to do a bit of doohickery to get that to add in, but that's not too bad. It should be noted that all three of those streaming softwares between XSplit, Streamlabs OBS, and OBS Studio all have the ability to log into Restream through a login form rather than using a stream key. If that works for you, then that's great. And that does come with a couple of additional features like pre-made dock windows and stuff like that. From your Restream dashboard, you can set all of your titles for your stream, so that way you click once and it applies them all. The only thing with this is that it doesn't allow you to set more advanced information on those streams for the different platforms. For example, the Twitch one allows you to set the game, but not the tags and stuff like that. And YouTube doesn't allow you to set the game. Now that the streaming part is set up, how do we handle things like alerts and other widgets? The two main services that provide alert and widget platforms are StreamElements and Streamlabs. Both services allow you to link up your Twitch, your YouTube, Mixer, when that was a thing, to your alert profile and allow you to make and customize alert profiles for each of those services. However, only one of those services streamlines the process a bit. We're going to break that down now. Now, StreamElements allows you to create web-based overlays that you create in a browser, and then you copy the link and chuck it into a browser source, and all of your little widgets are all there in the one contained browser source. Now, that sounds pretty easy, right? The problem with StreamElements is that each service that you sign up to or link to your StreamElements profile will have its own set of overlays. Well, the problem with StreamElements is that each service that you stream to has its own set of overlays that are created, and the widgets and the data that belongs to them belong to that specific service. What that means is that you're going to need to create a separate overlay for Twitch, for YouTube, for Periscope, for whatever services you plan to utilize that are supported by StreamElements, and run them as individual browser sources within your streaming software. The other issue with this is, as well, is that the data aggregates for say Twitch and YouTube don't merge together. They don't, unify. So you're effectively going to have to run multiple instances of the event list or whatever you have that you're streaming to on the screen. And that's going to take up a little bit too much screen space. Now that doesn't work for me because I don't like having too much crap on my screen or on my stream. Like, I don't like seeing flashy doodahs and everything else all over the place. But this is where Streamlabs comes in. Now, while Streamlabs does require you to change between the different services like StreamElements does, the difference here is that when you change between the different profiles for the different services, your settings are retained between them all, but also the data is merged together on the final output. This includes alert boxes, event lists, etc. Like, you can run one event list on Streamlabs and have it count all of your YouTube subscribers, your Twitch followers, hosts, raids, super chat, whatever. It'll all be contained in the one widget. One of the other cool things about Streamlabs is that the chat widget is unified, so it takes all of the chat logs from all the different profiles and services, and you can chuck it up on the screen, and then the rest of your community can see what the other part of your community is seeing, and vice versa. To set up your widgets and alerts for multi-streaming, you'll need to connect each of the supported platforms in your Streamlabs account setting. Once you've done that, you can start customizing your alert profiles for each service by switching between the services using the avatar menu in the top right. Now that covers the basics of multi-streaming, but what about community support and monetization? On Twitch, you'll have subscribers which can pay a certain amount per month to get emotes and other chat benefits. Whereas on YouTube, you'll have members, which works in a very similar way, but on YouTube. But what if you've revoked your affiliate agreement and you're not a YouTube partner yet? The solution to this is to have a centralized platform where your community can continue to support you financially, regardless of the platform. Services like Patron and Ko-Fi are both great substitutes in this regard because they give you a platform, but also they give you tools to communicate with your community directly. Now, I've set up my own Patreon with several affordable tiers that caps out at a maximum of 10 United States dollars. However you set your pricing is entirely up to you, but given that you're not sharing your revenue as a 50-50 split with Twitch, makes it easier to lower the cost of your subscription tiers. Now, there are benefits to being able to multi-stream, but if you've got the idea that you're going to grow your channel just because you're in multiple places at once, you're doing it wrong. And one of the biggest reasons to utilize multi-streaming is redundancy. Now, let's use Mixer as an example. Now, Mixer was closed in June 2020 with only a month given to Mixer partners and staff that they were effectively going to be without a home. Now, in that month, creators were expected to establish their communities on other platforms and staff were expected to find employment elsewhere. In a fucking pandemic, creators had spent so much of their time building their brand and community on Mixer, and it was just completely ripped out from underneath. Now, imagine that happening on Twitch or YouTube. You'd be pretty fucked. All of that work in the one thing, fucking gone. But if you were multi-streaming, you could carry on with your community. It would still suck, but the damage overall would be mitigated. Unless, of course, you did something to get yourself rightly banned, and then that's your fucking problem. It's important to highlight that multi-streaming is best done at the start of your streaming journey, when you haven't already established yourself on brand X or brand Y. Going back and making up the lost ground is a lot harder than it would be from the get-go, but it's not impossible. It just takes a lot of perseverance. The other benefits to multi-streaming is brand awareness. More people start to know your username around the place, which is great for opportunities that require a certain amount of reach. Let's think of it this way. Instead of saying that you have 10 subscribers on Twitch, you can then say you have a collective of 30 subscribers across all of your platforms, which sounds a lot better. Anyway, that does it for this video. If there's any burning questions that I haven't answered in this video already, feel free to leave a comment below or send a tweet to me or something. If you like this video and you want to see more, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more content. If you want to support what I do here, there's always my Patreon, which is linked in the description. And as always, you can reach out to me if you want to ask me something privately on Twitter. But aside from that, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!